Hi, beloveds. How are you doing today? Let's see. To cover letter or not to cover letter? That is the question. So, it's come to my attention that some people think that writing a cover letter is a complete waste of time. Why spend an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, working on a really nice, really precise cover letter instead of just applying to, how many jobs can you apply to in like an hour and a half? Especially if you're going to some place like Indeed or Monster.com or wherever to just kind of throw resumes out into the universe as quickly as you can and call it a day and say that you've been productive. Well, to do a cover letter, right? I am in favor of cover letters. Now, it also depends on, what kind of position are you applying to? If you're applying to like a waitress or a busboy or, a retail position that's, fairly low pay, you may not need a cover letter. It may not be the standard practice in that industry to have a cover letter, okay? In those cases, okay, if you don't want to do a cover letter, fine. Now, for the people that I work with, I always have them do a cover letter regardless of how much the position pays, regardless of any of that, because a cover letter can be really, really helpful. So the higher paid your positions go, depending also on the industry, particularly higher education, the medical industry, places like that, they will want to see a cover letter. Cover letter, it's a great opportunity to show how great of a fit you will be, to explain who you are, how you found out about the position, and what about the position appeals to you, why you want to work at this particular place, and to highlight some of the things that are listed in the job announcement, certain requirements or minimal qualifications that they're asking for. The cover letter is a great place to say, this is how I meet or exceed the minimum qualifications that you're asking for. Now, when you say that in a cover letter and are very clear about it, it really helps the hiring manager because you've done the work for them. You've shown them and described specifically in your cover letter exactly how you meet or exceed the basic qualifications. So then they can move you forward to the interview phase, or they could, look at you with less of a specific eye on things because you've already told them and explained to them about your qualifications. So yes, you could apply to, X amount of jobs in an hour, or you could take that time to write one really good cover letter, okay? Now, if you're just throwing resumes into the universe, a lot of times hiring managers, they can tell when you're just tossing things out there. They call you for an interview and you don't even know what job this is because you don't even know which ones you applied for. You just kind of tossed it out into the universe. It's kind of like you can be, a jack of all trades and master of none, okay? It's better to really think deeply about what you want out of life, what your purpose is, what your strengths are, what kind of work you want to be doing, what kind of work makes you happy, what kind of work really pays the bills. If you can think about those things all together and then come up with an industry and career path that really works for you, then just focus on that. Focus on that and spend, a couple hours maybe doing one or two resumes, and one or two cover letters, and sending out your resumes to one or two companies or organizations instead of sending 50 resumes and they not being a good fit for you. And those jobs you're applying to, you're just a number because you literally are. You're just throwing them out there, So I think that it's more beneficial to really focus on a fewer jobs and do a better job applying to those fewer jobs than to just, click send on 50 job applications and not pay attention and not really want the jobs or just kind of taking anything that will come your way. You take anything that will come your way, you're going to set the path up for a long term for you to just kind of fall into whatever position you have, and that's can cause you to be less happy, make less money, and just not the best situation. So I'm in favor of cover letters regardless of whether you're applying for a job at a grocery store or a bank or a hospital or wherever. Cover letters, they don't always have to be long, but they should clearly state those key things that I talked about. And when I was doing hiring, I found cover letters very helpful to help me determine who I want to bring in for an interview, who's going to be a good fit, and also it can help me to determine what questions I want to ask them before the interview based on what they said in their cover letter. And sometimes when I was doing hiring, reading the cover letter lets you know how deep you need to go into the resume, especially if there's a lot of positions or a lot of people applying. Then sometimes there wasn't always time to review all of the resumes in detail. So the cover letter can be very important, particularly if you're in an industry that's very competitive. Use the cover letter to your advantage, because you know what, if you don't think the cover letter matters, there's people who do think it matters, and there's people out there who are going to do a really good cover letter, and they may have a leg up, versus you. So keep that in mind. All right, beloveds, take care. See you next time.